different vein. I was privileged and honored to meet him in 1978. I was a rookie in the tennis industry. Really didn't know St. Louis tennis coming from Kansas City. When I went to the Racketman in 1978, John Hadridge owned the Racketman. John Hadridge was a guy who worked in his bare feet. And there was Jerry Jr. at the stringing machine every time I'd walk in there. Jerry with his lanky body, his big smile and chuckle, and his afro. And Jerry was so attentive. This guy at 16 years old was listening to every word that anyone had to say about tennis. He was a sponge and he absorbed everything. Jerry became my mentor, actually, because when I came to St. Louis, I was really new to the industry and didn't understand the impact that St. Louis had on the tennis market, not just here, but around the country. During those times, there was an incredible evolution of racket technology, string technology. It was moving at a fast clip. All the racket manufacturers were coming up with new products. It was just a sawmill of information that was going through every channel of tennis distribution. The Racketman at that point in time was growing, and they were growing very quickly. Every manufacturer in the tennis industry wanted to know what was going on in St. Louis. And I'm not kidding. These executives from around the country would come into St. Louis and they had picked Jerry's brain because he was so well connected, and they all wanted to know what Jerry knew. They wanted to know what the response from the tennis community was about the equipment. And Jerry knew everything. He was amazing. I sat in front of Jerry for hours and hours and hours throughout 20 years. And I can tell you he had a brilliant mind when it came to technology and tennis. Amazing guy. And so I just want everyone to understand how important of a person Jerry was to the tennis industry, just not locally, but on a basis across the country. There's about 4 or 5 tennis shops that started back in the 70s, and we went through this crazy growth, and a lot of stores opened up, and today it's all kind of thinned down to a few, and the Diekroegers have survived, 40 years of this industry and the change that's taken place. And the one thing I will tell you is that the legacy remains. The Racketman is still one of the best and prime tennis retailers in the country today. And St. Louis, you guys have supported him, and it's a beautiful thing what's happened. And this community was well deserved of Jerry Diekroeger and the Diekroeger family to service them. And I think we all appreciate that. And the last thing I want to say, in the last 10 years when Jerry was fighting his demons and going through all that, I spent some time with him in the Chesterfield store. And again, he was always thinking about, technology, what's next. And I will tell you, in my opinion, his last legacy was, he was the pickleball ambassador to St. Louis. He was building pickleball rackets in his shed. It was an amazing thing when he came out and he showed us this big, oh, you guys aren't going to believe pickleball's the next thing. Oh, yeah, sure, Jerry. Well, 8 years later, from the time he started, pickleball is growing very fast, and it's going to continue to grow. So, Jerry Diekroeger Jr. has left a legacy that I don't think anyone can repeat in this industry, in terms of he was a conduit between the community and the manufacturers. And he supplied both with as much knowledge as he could provide, and it was outstanding. So, thanks, Jerry. I know you're looking down on us today because we're talking about you. God bless you.